I want to share with you how and why I started this YouTube channel. You'll be surprised that this channel was started in some of the darkest moments of my life. So the story goes back into 2011, where I used to work for Bloomberg, which is a fintech company based in New York. I still work with that company. I love my work. It is related to data engineering, data science. My colleagues are very good, my managers, everything is so good. So when you are working for such a good company which pays you really high, you would think that, okay, I would work for this company forever and then retire with some decent amount of money in my 401k account, and I'll probably go to Florida, retire there and live my cool life. I'll probably be playing golf and just enjoying my life. So that was the time perception I had back in 2011. But interestingly, life throws curveball at you, okay, and sometimes it's for good. So 2011, I was diagnosed with uncurable, very painful autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis. So what happens is your immune system starts attacking your colon, thinking that it is an outside agent, as if you have just done an organ transplant, and it tries to just almost crush your colon. You have a lot of inflammation going on, a lot of blood, you lose weight, all kind of issues, and there is no cure for it. So doctors give you steroids. Steroids just temporarily suppress the symptoms, but it comes back after you stopped taking steroids. And steroids also had all kind of side effects, and your life almost becomes a hell. And you know that this disease is not curable. So it kind of creates this psychological impact where you almost go into depression. So I lived with that condition for few years. In 2015, after 4 years, my health was degrading day by day, and I was losing a lot of weight. My stress level were high, and I was in a very dark moments of my life back in November 2015. Those were that was like some of the dark days of my life. It's like my health was not getting better. I was just going through big flare-ups, and there was no hope. I visited so many doctors, and medical science doesn't have a cure for autoimmune basically. It is like rheumatoid arthritis basically, but I would say probably much more worse than that. So what happens is, when you have this kind of critical illness, whatever free time you get, you end up googling, reading articles on it, and in your free time you're always thinking about your problems. That's just a human nature, okay? So I was also doing the same thing, and one thing I realized was that the more I was thinking about my problem, it was creating more stress and it wasn't helping me. So I realized one practical way to tackle with this problem is engage in some activity which you enjoy. So that way your mind is diverted in a different direction and you almost come out of that dark zone. Then I started thinking, what is that activity? Now I of course do meditation. I am into Buddhism and spiritualism, so I always wanted to do something which helps people, because when you help people it kind of comes back to you. So I started writing down few things. I started writing down 3 top things which met 3 criterias. First is, it should be something I enjoy doing. Second is, it should be something where I have received a compliment in past, which means I'm little better at it. If not very good at it, I'm little better in doing that thing. And the third thing was, it should help people. It was all about giving back as well. I was big into photography. I also loved writing poems and short stories. So I wrote down those 2 things, but then the third thing that came to my mind was teaching. My father was a teacher when I grew up in a village in India, and when I was a child, I used to even teach his students who used to come for a personal tuition at my home. And I have received feedback on my teaching, even in my previous companies where I was working. My colleagues used to say that you're good at this. So then I realized, okay, teaching is probably the top thing which meets these three criteria. And how do I do that now? Because I'm doing this job, I love my job, so I want to do this passively. And YouTube was one way of doing it passively, because I can do it at my leisure time whenever I feel like doing it, no obligation. And the thing that inspired this thought was I was listening to a podcast called Smart Passive Income. It is by Pat Flynn. Great podcast on entrepreneurship, um, self-development, generating passive income. I will link to that podcast in a video description below. But Pat Flynn, who is the host of that podcast, when I was traveling to work, I was listening to that podcast, and he mentioned one thing which I will always remember is you cannot control what events happen in your life, but you can control how you react to it. So there is this critical illness that happened to me. Despite me being a very healthy person, I always ate clean, organic, vegetarian. My stress was under control. I was meditating, yoga. Despite all of this, this thing happened to me. And I couldn't control it, but I can certainly control how I react to it. So I decided to react to it by starting this YouTube channel where I can spend some time in doing the thing which I enjoy, and I also give back, and I build these connections with people, living in the different parts of the world. So I started teaching Python. I'm going to post a link of some of my initial videos. You will notice like how bad I was. I was very slow. I was adding the background music, which many people did not like. And it started evolving. Because I enjoyed it thoroughly from the bottom of my heart, I knew that this is something I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And I continued on it. I continued improving it. And guess what? Now I'm here. The channel is growing. I have amazing people like you, all of you, almost 90,000 subscribers. I interact with you a lot, and I have come in contact with some of the amazing people which I would not have come in contact with if this disease didn't happen in my life. Recently I started talking with some of you through phone, and I feel very humble connecting with you all on phone. Um, and I want to say special thanks to Vishwa, Shiva, Amir, Chinmay, Chandresh, Vakas, because you guys are now helping me moderate those Q&A live sessions and all of that, and it's just the kind of connections I have developed is amazing, and I have talked with many more of you, and I really want to say thank you for all the supports and appreciation that you have given to me. When I started this YouTube channel, some of the amazing things that happened was I was able to connect with a person whom I have never met, from a different country, different background and culture, and you still have this noble connection of a teacher and a student. So recently I talked with few people in Pakistan, and I'm from India. Pakistan doesn't have a good relationship politics wise. So you kind of have that perception of people on the other end of the border. But when I talked with Vakas, so Vakas, if you're listening, man, thank you. I have had one of the most amazing conversation, like such a nice human being you are. And that has broadened my own perspective. So it's not like through YouTube I'm teaching you, but I feel like you guys are teaching me a lot, and I'm kind of developing as a human being more and more that I do my YouTube. I interact with you guys on through YouTube comments. It kind of helps me. So I personally feel YouTube as a medium which is helping me in my own personal growth. So thank you very much for all of that. So while I was doing this YouTube, so it was growing, I was really enjoying, but on my health front, it was still degrading. And last year in 2019, I was not able to upload any videos for many months. Many of you have asked, you guys are asking me why I look so much thin compared to before. I used to weigh 170 pound, and I became, like, last November, October, I think, not October, last August I became 110 pound. So 170 pound to 110 pound, I lost more than 60 pound of weight. My health was pretty bad last year. It almost reached the bottom. But there is a great saying in Buddhism that when the student is ready, teacher appears. So I was looking for solution of my health problem in mainstream medical science, going to doctors, but they did not have the solution. And somehow I came across a book called Self-Healing Colitis and Crohn's. That book was all about eating raw fruits and vegetables, and that can cure this problem. I started doing it. For 2 months straight, I ate only raw fruits and vegetables, nothing else. And that actually solved my problem. So the problem that wasn't being solved in last 8 years, it was getting worse and worse. Now, past 6 months, I am completely symptom free. I have given up all my medicines from last 10 months almost, and I am healthy and feeling so good and great. I feel like I'm almost reverse aging. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, I feel that in terms of energy, the positivity and all of that. And I'm gonna link some pictures, and I'm also gonna show you some picture of like how I used to look before and how I looked when I was like 110 pound last year. I have gained 20 pounds now. I'm so much thankful to life in general, that when life throws a curveball at you, if you are open enough for exploring different possibilities and taking things in a positive way, amazing things happen in life. And that's what has happened to me. My channel was born out of my health struggle. Now, not only my health issues are solved, my channel is also growing. It has almost given me a purpose of life, the purpose of teaching, mentoring, helping people, and connecting with most amazing people throughout the world. And I used to read all these things in books that if God gives you hardship, it is for your own upliftment. And I always thought like it's a bullshit, okay? But now I believe that it is true, that if, let's say, if something bad happens to you, just be very open-minded and explore the opportunities that it is offering you, and use that energy, that anger that you have within you, to channelize in the right direction, and that will probably help you get more near to the purpose of your life. And I'm telling you because this thing did happen to me. I experienced it firsthand, and I have seen the amazing outcome of it. So sorry if this was too long, but yeah, that was my story. Thank you.